An unusual sort of drama's been playing itself out along Highway 21 between Shoal Lake and Hamiota this summer. Just as this multi-million-dollar road upgrade was set to get started in July, an unexpected hitch developed. Salamanders were found in the wetlands along the right-of-way. These particular creatures, the prairie population of tiger salamanders, are listed as a species of concern under the Federal Species at Risk Act, and the law requires that they be removed from harm's way. That's where Luke Roffey comes in. He works for a Winnipeg company hired by the main highway contractor to make sure the terms of the law are met.
Since they're a threatened species in Manitoba, before any construction needed to take place, could take place, we needed to take action and remove these salamanders so they wouldn't get crushed.
Remove them from the immediate right-of-way?
Yeah, remove them from the highway right-of-way and transport them, relocate them somewhere else in the wetland.
And at that point, you set up the booms, was it?
Yeah, so they're called turbidity curtains, and so it's a floating piece of styrofoam with a heavy chain underneath, and they're just this sheet of plastic, hard plastic pretty much. And so what that does is it stops silt and sediment from that the construction kicks up. It stops it from flowing through the whole wetland and polluting it. But the problem is any salamanders that are trapped between the curtain and the shore are going to be right in the hot zone of construction, right? So those are the ones that we're trapping and relocating.
And how's that going?
It's going well. Yeah, we've caught over 1,100 salamanders in the last month, and they seem to be taken to the relocation quite well, and they seem quite healthy. So yeah, we're pretty pleased to see.
How long will this continue, this program?
It will continue until the salamanders are essentially all captured.
When this began, your salvage program, I think you call it, what happened to the highway project?
Well, the highway project, they started right at Shoal Lake, and they went almost all the way to Hamiota. So they had quite a bit of highway to work on in the meantime. So we were able to keep ahead of them pretty well. And it's only been in the last week or so that we've started to impede their construction a little bit. But that's just a necessary thing because the salamanders are protected and they're important, and they're just not allowed to proceed without our okay on the map.
Would the construction have proceeded if they weren't required to protect them?
Well, that's definitely the feelings. If it was up to the construction people, for sure. If it wasn't required, then construction probably would have proceeded, and many of those, 1,100 that we relocated, probably would not have survived. So, the protection status that they have has been good for them.
Sounds like a fairly unique operation.
Yeah, there's nothing really like it that's been done before on this species in Manitoba. So I feel pretty lucky to be a part of it, and it's a very neat project.
Tell me about these animals. What makes them unique?
So they're pretty cool because there's nothing really like a tiger salamander in Manitoba or in the world, really. They're the largest land-dwelling terrestrial salamander in the world, and so the fact they live up here in Canada is pretty cool. And so we're catching two kind of life stages of them right now. They have an aquatic larval stage where they have these gills that come out from behind their head, kind of like a triceratops's shield, and they have a big fin across their back and around their tail, and then they'll absorb the gills and they absorb the fin, and their legs get bigger and stronger, and then they're ready to walk on land. And so right now we're getting, in the beginning of this study, we were catching all aquatic larval stage salamanders, and now we're catching a greater proportion of terrestrial ones. So it's neat to see the transition and see them grow.
I think a lot of people would refer to them as lizards. Are they lizards?
No, they're nothing really like a lizard. I mean, superficially, they've got the same long body and 4 legs, and they walk low to the ground. But they don't have claws and they don't have scales, and they have the aquatic larval stage. They don't have a shelled egg. That's another reptilian trait. They're much more closer to a frog. Like they're an amphibian. They've got soft, permeable skin, and they start their life in water and transition to land. So they're quite different. Yeah.
Tell me a bit about the trapping process, how you attract them and how it works.
So we've been using minnow traps, and originally we started off baiting them with dog food and glow sticks at night, and then we didn't really find a difference between traps that had nothing in them and traps that had dog food for capture of salamanders. So we kind of dispensed with the dog food, and we just set traps that had either nothing in them or glow sticks. And so we use the glow sticks at night because they're attracted to the light, and then in the daytime we're just going with nothing. And we've had great success, especially at night. Like the glow sticks really seem to work.
There are more than 500 kinds of salamanders in the world, and there's a wider variety in North America than any place else. But the pressures on them from human activity, as we've already seen, are intense, pretty well everywhere. COSEWIC, the Committee on the Status of Endangered Wildlife in Canada, describes the pressures on the prairie tiger salamander from loss, degradation, and fragmentation of habitat as immense. So why worry about a creature that's mostly out of sight and out of mind anyway? Well, salamanders form a critical part of nature's food web, not just because of what eats them, but because of what they eat. Before they emerge from the water, they consume lots of mosquito larvae, before these insects can spread serious disease to you and me. And if you don't find salamanders particularly lovable, how about a sandhill crane, a fox, a great blue heron, or a pelican? Because, you guessed it, salamanders are on their menu and help them survive too. But salamanders also have the amazing ability to regenerate lost limbs. This has researchers wondering if they can somehow unlock that secret and apply it to human ailments. For this and other stories like it, please visit my blog planetinperil.ca, where science gets respect. I'm Larry Powell. Bye for now, and have a green day.